Okay, hey BFF crew. Here's our first installment of a little health coach topics that we want to bring up on a regular basis. I used to do a lot of health coaching and look forward to kind of getting back into that. And today's topic that I'd like to talk about is sugar. This is a particular topic that is a very big passion of mine. In fact, it's probably one of the main reasons why I started Bubba's Fine Foods. When I was getting over my Crohn's disease symptoms and starting up the paleo diet, when I would go look for snacks, so often I would find, these grain-free snacks or nut mixes that would be like, okay, this is almost everything just right for the paleo diet, but almost every single time, if I found something in that category, refined sugars, always refined sugars in there, and like at 10 grams, 15 grams per serving. It's like, well, that's not going to be a pantry staple. That's not going to be my go-to snack. And there just wasn't anything available. So that was one of the big reasons why we started this company, is like, let's get some snacks out there without all this sugar in it. Why sugar? Why care about it? Why? That's the big question, because most of the people I talk to, when the topic comes up, it's like, oh yeah, it's bad for my teeth. It causes cavities, and that's about it. That's about the extent of what seems like our culture's viewpoint of sugar is. And it's my personal belief that besides smoking, it's probably the number one reason for behind most of our country's disease problem, our chronic disease problem. And that is not on people's consciousness. And that just comes from study after study after study that comes out on the ill effects of sugar. And quite frankly, it's not so much that sugar is bad, it's the quantity of sugar that we intake. And that to me is America's number one problem behind smoking, is the quantity of sugar that we consume. So just as a matter of perspective, so like in the 1915s, before Coca-Cola was on the scene, we were consuming like 18 pounds of sugar per person per year. And now, today, we're like 9 times higher on the consumption. It's like 150 pounds of sugar per person on an annual basis that we consume. That's just, the quantity is so toxic, and our poor little livers, which is what processes the sugar, it doesn't stand a chance with that kind of quantity. So that's the problem, and it's in people add it in everything, so it's really hard to avoid. And so what happens? Like, what happens when our poor little liver takes on that quantity of sugar? Well, number one cause of death in America is heart disease. Sugar is vicious on the heart. It builds up fat around the heart. It cranks out triglycerides out of our liver when it processes fructose. All terrible for the heart. Number two cause of death, cancer. Study after study shows that sugar feeds the growth of cancer. What's one of the largest growing diseases in our country? Type 2 diabetes. Now that one's very well linked. Like a lot of people realize that that's the cause of too high sugar intake. But other ones that people don't know necessarily about, Alzheimer's. Study after study showing that that's bad for the brain. Cellular aging, it shortens the telomeres in our cells. Bad for the gut health. Bad for immunity. I mean, the list can go on. Just Google it, say what are the effects of sugar on the body. It's just, the list is huge. It is so much more than cavities. And because it's addictive, it's hard to reduce your intake. That's the hard part. And so that's why I'm talking about it. I mean, people struggle with it. And so I thought, hey, let's as our BFF group here, let's talk about our struggles with it, maybe some tips that we have to help reduce our intake. And so that's what I want to talk about. This is a huge topic. I want to do several different short little topics on it. some of the things that I do to help avoid sugar intake when I go out to eat, or when I'm buying products or whatever. So we'll get into those. But I'd love to hear what you guys have questions about, struggles with, and we'll address those together. And then feel free in the comment sections to throw in comments, and we can help each other out with this. And I just look forward to it. So thanks everybody, and be well.